It's the Duke of Norfolk's full rehearsal for tomorrow's state opening. The Lord Chancellor arrives with Margaret Beckett from the Commons. Lord Irvine is keen to change the way Parliament's conducted, but for the moment the old traditions and rituals are being observed.
The Lord Great Chamberlain's here.
Yes,
somewhere.
he's here. Yeah, he's there.
The Earl Marshal's here.
Yes.
The Sword of State is here.
David Craig's here, yes.
When the minor royals process in.
There are no minor royals. They are no longer eligible. Gloucester's, Kent's, Princess Margaret, no longer eligible.
They're out.
They're out. They're hereditary.
Oh, hereditary.
Yeah.
Silly me. Yeah.
Now you tell me there's too much of a gap here. No news is good news, so to speak.
Definitely no news, right?
Upheavals in Parliament are nothing new. To put things into a historical perspective, Earl Russell took me to a room high above the chamber in the Victoria Tower. Here in the Acts Room are all the old Acts of Parliament dating back to the 15th century.
Swabeye or senior. Send it to the Lords. That means the Commons are finished with it. À cette bill, les seigneurs sont assentus. The Lords have agreed to this bill. I think the parallel I would see most closely is to the first pressure for parliamentary reform. And I came across quite recently a speech by my great-grandfather in 1822, in which he said, "The votes of the House of Commons no longer represent the nation," which is so patently true at the moment, it brings you up with a jerk.
The velvet purse contains the government's plans for the future, which the Queen will read out.
If you take a presidency like the United States, there are checks and balances. I mean, the President of the United States, as compared with the Prime Minister of this country, is impotent. The Prime Minister of this country has got no checks and balances. And there are even the checks and balances that were in the House of Lords are disappearing. It went up to March, but they're disappearing because you've now got a situation, unless you get a totally reformed House of Lords, which is going to be very nothing at all. And even in a reformed House of Lords, you're always going to get the cry in the House of Commons that it's the will of the people, and the second chamber has no right to interfere. Well, if that is so, you have what Lord Hailsham in the old days used to call an elective dictatorship. I think it worries people. Worries me. Why? It worries me that Parliament no longer seems to matter very much.
You see how few Lords were present these last few weeks before the House was abolished. This is the day of the King's execution. 5 Lords attending. The ones who wouldn't stand for it weren't there.
Right.
At the end of the month, they're abolished by an order of the House of Commons, which said that they were both useless and dangerous, which is an intriguing paradox.
You see, we know that at the moment we've got a Prime Minister who doesn't believe in history. Well, of course, I believe terrifically in history. What's happened before, or the best of it, we should keep it.
But then it's not history. Surely it's not that he doesn't believe in history, but he doesn't think history should be the present, i.e. hereditary peers sitting in the House of Lords. I suppose that's his belief.
Well, my answer to that is that if you're a real democracy, a democrat, of course, the old House of Lords was absolutely untenable. And I've always recognised that, and I knew that my tenure there would be limited. And I wasn't really surprised when I went.
But do you not think it's important to be democratic?
Well, it's a sort of